Hello and welcome to the garden. In today's video, I am going to be harvesting my last bucket of potatoes that I planted in the late winter, early springtime. Can't quite remember when I did that. I'll put an iCard in. If you'd like to see what I come up with in this 17-gallon bucket of potatoes, stay tuned. Here is that bucket of potatoes I was talking about. This is one of my 17-gallon buckets in my 17-gallon growing area. I put a couple of citronella sticks in there because these bugs are ridiculous. So as you can see, the potatoes have died back. When I came back after being gone out of the garden for roughly a week, the potato tops look like this. So let's get into this pot and see if I have any potatoes. But before I do, let me show you another pot that I planted up recently. Here is a 17-gallon bucket that I potted up not too long ago, and if you can see, I have potato growth. So the potatoes that I planted are beginning to sprout. So I will get a second flush of potatoes. Now excuse the sweet potatoes, they rude, they leaning in, but we're gonna try to prop those up and out of the way. I have potatoes. My last harvest of potatoes, I didn't get a lot of potatoes, but I did get a pretty fair amount. So let's see how many are in this pot. I hope this gives you a pretty good bird's eye view. I'm going to take this mulch off the top and try not to disturb what I think is a butterfly pea growing in this container. I can't disrupt the area right here because I think that's what that is. So I'm going to try and just take away all that is on the front right here. And this is just pine mulch that I picked up. Uh-oh, look, I just pulled out a potato and didn't even realize it. Hang on. There we go. My first potato. Look at there, y'all. Nice and firm. So let me get this out of here. I accidentally pulled up one of the branches or stems and that little potato came up. Let me try to hurry this out or hurry this up and get this out the way as quickly as I can without making too much of a mess. There we go. Looks like I've got some roly-polies in here, so I will have to treat this. I really can't stand roly-polies. They really give me the creeps. So I'm hoping I have some potatoes in here. More than just, oh look, I do. Look, I've got potatoes. Can you guys see that? Oh, how exciting. Let me take this and dump this out over towards my left. Just chuck that out of the way. I'm not going to put that back into the container. Yeah, roly-polies give me the creeps, y'all. Like, truly. All right, so what is that? This looks like a rotting potato. So I'm going to take that, toss it to the side. And it looks like, let's see. First, I need to figure out how this is in here so that I don't accidentally snatch it out. Let's move this trellis a bit. Sit it up. Let's see. This trellis is not cooperating. So it looks like it's right here. So I've got to be very careful with that. And I swear these roly-polies are just totally freaking me out, y'all. Totally freaking me out. So let's see, I'm going to scoop out some soil and chuck it out of here. Just like that. And it looks like I've got a potato right here. Yay! Looks like I've got a few potatoes right in this area right here as I uncover with my hand. Can you all see that? As I uncover, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to do it with my left. So I've got potatoes right in here. I can feel them. And they were relatively close to the surface. So I'm going to just, that's a piece of bark. I'm going to try not to tear them up too bad. Look at that. Potatoes. I'm going to actually put them in the container at my feet and show you all exactly what comes out of this pot. Look at that. Look at that. Now this has been the biggest potato I've pulled out of the garden so far. Ooh, look at that. I'm excited, y'all. So excited. This is the second largest potato I think I've pulled out of the garden so far. Here's a tiny little baby. Now I've tried not to water this this bucket, but I don't know how I managed to forget, but I had drip irrigation over here. And so it was getting a little bit of water. As you can see, the soil is a little bit moist, but these are not soft. They're all firm. So I'm just putting them towards my feet. Before I pot this up, I may need to put some diatomaceous earth in it or over the surface of the pot. I have worms in here. I don't want to do a whole lot of digging with a tool because I don't want to scratch up my potatoes. I am going to have to do some digging. I'm already unearthing worms as I go, which is a good sign. This is teeming with worms. I'm going to go over on this side. Let's move you guys so that you can see. Scooted you over a little bit so that you can see. There was a potato plant here. So there should be some potatoes here. This is a tiny one. This one is ruined. So I'm going to throw this out over to the side. It will be worm food. There we go. Here's another. So I'm going to speed this up and try and dig out as much as I can and find potatoes. Okay, I did not want to encroach over in that area, so there's a likelihood of there being some potatoes over there, but I do not want to disturb what I do believe is my butterfly pea because it's growing really well, and I do want to try to get a harvest off of that to include some seeds. So I've dug down, not quite half, but I have dug around in here hoping to unearth anything that's a little bit midway just by digging with my hand, just going midway. And I don't see any more potatoes in this area over here. Let me be quiet and see if maybe if I hush for a minute the dogs will stop barking. Okay, so it looks like there is someone walking on the street, and that's what's causing them to bark. So I do apologize for my neighbor's dogs, But as you can see, the soil is nice and loose and rich. There are some wood pieces in here from just mulch, but the soil looks amazing. Let me show you my potato harvest. This is my potato harvest. I did have one other potato. I hope I'm not hitting y'all with my hat. I had one other tiny potato that I put inside of the container already, but this is my potato harvest. I am going to have to, dust these off to make sure I don't have any bugs on them. But I did pretty good with this harvest. I am going to place a few of these back inside of this bucket like I did the other one. And I'm going to see if I can get some more potatoes to grow so that I can have a fall or early winter potato harvest. I would love to have some potatoes for that time of the year. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of these, or even some of the ones that I harvested already, and see if they have sprouts that I can put back in here to grow me some more potatoes. So I mean, these look really good, you guys. Like this one is sprouting. This one right here is sprouting. That you can really see that sprout. It actually has 2 potato babies on it. See right there, another sprout. I'm going to take these potato babies off, and I'm going to place that right there. There was another one. Oh yeah, right here. This one began to sprout. I'm going to put that one in there. And so this is my potato harvest, and I'm excited. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fertilize this container just like I did the other container with my Espoma fertilizer, my and that's the Garden Tone, as well as my Osmocote. And I'm also going to put in here some sardines, and then I'm going to go ahead on and replant a few of these potatoes, because I mean, why not? I can get another batch of potatoes. Let me show you guys how much I have harvested so far between these 2 buckets. Look at that, plus the ones I'm going to replant. Look at all those potatoes, just absolutely amazing. I can't wait to eat some of these potatoes. So let me start fertilizing. I have set aside the potatoes I want to replant, and so now I'm just going to take this vegetable tone. It's Espoma vegetable tone, and I am going to fertilize my soil. I fertilize the exact same way almost every time. Since this is a large container, I'm going to make sure that I'm giving it what I'd like to think is an adequate amount of fertilizer. And again, I do apologize for my neighbor's dogs, but if you are a pet owner, you know that sometimes dogs bark. That's their job. So I try not to get too annoyed, even though sometimes it is very annoying. All right, now I'm going to take my Osmocote, and I'm going to sprinkle my Osmocote in it just like this. I'm also going to put in here a little bit of azomite rock dust, and I'm just going to sprinkle some azomite just like this. Not a lot. Put the excess back into my box, and in all honesty, I don't remember if I put azomite in the last container. I hope I did, but I don't remember. Now I'm also going to take my soil scooper, and I'm going to, well, you know what, I'm going to use my hands because I have worms in here, and I don't want to use the serrated edge on that and hurt my worms if I can help it. So I'm just going to just kind of shove this around just like so. Just like so. Just mush it around, just like that. All right, and then last but not least, I'm going to place in here my sardines in water. This is just like using fish emulsion. If think I had someone ask me, why do you use sardines? The reason why I use sardines is my great grandmother used to have a large, beautiful farm, and I was taught several principles when it comes to fertilization. You know, way back in the day, they didn't have fertilizers that they could go to the store and just pick up at the farm store or Walmart. You know, they had to use what they had available to them, and putting real food in the soil like Native Americans did was what they did. And so I used to have access to a fishmonger where I could get the pieces of fish that they would just toss away, but I don't have access to that at the moment. So I supplement that by using sardines. For a little while I forgot about it, but I remembered and I went back to what I was doing. So I add my sardines now. And so I'm going to take the soil that I took out of here when I was trying to harvest the potatoes, and I'm going to place it back in my container. Just going to pour it in, just like so. Just like that. And then I'm going to just move it around, place it back in the container like that. Now I am going to firm in over in this area so that if I did disturb the roots of this plant, that I didn't disturb it too much, because I'm going to firm it in. Now what I'm going to do now is add my potatoes back. Now before I add my potatoes that I'm going to plant in the bucket, I'm going to put in the bucket the potatoes that were rotting, because I have worms in this bucket and I want my worms to continue to feed. So I'm going to put them over here in the corner. Just going to put those rotting potatoes down in there like that and push that loose soil over the top of them, just like that in the corner. And then I'm going to take the potatoes that I want to grow and just place them on the top of my soil like so. And I just eyeball them, you know. I really don't want too much growing over here by this butterfly. I'm just going to move this stake a little bit more. I don't like how it's balling up there in the corner. I may need to readjust this. There we go. I'm just gonna shove that down like that. It's not working out how I want it at the moment. This fly is just a nuisance. I'll readjust this to straighten this part out, but for right now I'm just going to go ahead on and plant my potatoes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down as far as I can, the length of my hand, maybe a little further if I can go down that far, and then I'm going to place my potato in the hole, cover it up. And this fly just is relentless. I'm going to do the same thing over here, go down as far as my hand, place it in the hole, cover it up. And you all have seen me do this before, so I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to watch it. I am going to top this container with some wood chip. I'm not going to put that pine mulch back on top of here because there was so many roly-polies in that I just totally got grossed out. There's a mosquito trying to eat me. But I'm going to put some wood chip on here, and then I'm going to water this in. And I'm going to call it good. That's it for tonight. I'm glad that I was able to harvest some potatoes and replant some potatoes to try to get a second growing of potatoes. If you guys are growing potatoes, I urge you to try this for yourself. Plant some potatoes that you've already harvested to see if you can get another batch of potatoes before the season is over, if you have a long enough growing season. If you like this content, do me a favor, share this video, like this video, leave me a comment. I do my best to comment back to everyone who leaves a comment to me, and I want to thank everyone who watches my channel and shares my videos to others, and I hope to see you in the garden again. Up until then, have a great night everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.